Once upon a time, in the middle of a deep forest, there was a small cottage hidden among the tall trees. In that cottage lived an old woman with 3 young girls. All 3 were very beautiful, but the youngest was the most beautiful of all. The old woman made them work from morning till late at night. She made them spin golden thread into the finest and rarest yarn. As soon as one spindle was finished, she handed them another so they would never get a moment's rest. The thread had to be flawless and shining. Whenever the work was done, she locked the golden thread inside a secret room. Twice or thrice a year, she went away on a long journey and returned after 6 days. The girls never knew where she went or what she did with the magical golden thread. One day, as she was leaving for another journey, she gave each girl 6 days' worth of work and warned them strictly. Do not let your eyes wander and never speak to any man. If you do, the shine of your golden thread will fade and misfortune will fall upon you. On the 3rd day after her departure, a young prince who had gone hunting in the forest lost his way and was separated from his companions. Tired and weary, he fell asleep beneath a tree. When he awoke, evening had already fallen. As he wandered further, he found a narrow path that led him to the cottage. At the door sat the 3 sisters. The prince greeted them and explained that he was lost, hungry, and exhausted. The elder sisters immediately remembered the old woman's warning and hesitated, but the youngest sister's kind heart could not ignore his suffering. She invited him inside, gave him food, and spoke with him for a long time. A few days later, the prince's soldiers finally found him at the cottage. Before leaving, the prince promised the youngest sister that he would return and make her his bride. But as soon as the girl looked at her spindle, her heart sank. The golden thread had lost its shine. That night, when the old woman returned, she immediately understood what had happened. Furious, she shouted, "You have not only brought disaster upon yourself, but also upon the prince." The poor girl fell into deep sorrow. At last, she decided to send a message to the prince for help. Since she could understand the language of birds, she called a hoopoe bird and gave it her message. The magical bird flew to the prince and told him everything. The prince at once prepared himself and, on the 9th day, returned to the cottage. That night, he secretly took the youngest girl away with him toward his palace. When the old woman discovered the escape, she prepared a potion with enchanted herbs, shaped it into a small ball, and cast it into the wind. It struck the girl, and in a flash, she fell into the river. The prince searched desperately but could not find her. Heartbroken, he fell ill. 1 year later, the prince returned to the same bridge across the river. There, he saw a golden lotus floating on the water. From within the flower came a soft, sorrowful voice. It was the girl, transformed into the lotus by the old woman's spell. The prince went to her sisters, and they revealed the truth. Out of pity, they gave him a magical cake made from rare herbs to help free their sister. Following the instructions of a wise magician, the prince transformed himself into a red insect and went down into the river to free the lotus roots. Then, in a loud and powerful voice, he cried, "From insect to man, from lotus to maiden." At once, the spell was broken. The prince regained his human form, and the youngest sister returned more beautiful than ever. The prince brought her back to the palace, and their wedding was celebrated with great joy. Sometime later, a crow came to the prince and reminded him of the promise he had made to free his sisters-in-law. Without delay, the prince went back to the cottage. The old woman was away, and the sisters had prepared a poisonous cake. When the old woman returned, greed overcame her. She ate the cake and fell dead on the spot. The prince brought the 2 elder sisters to the palace, and the 3 sisters were reunited. From that day on, they all lived happily ever after.